It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, and yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, it's Eric Franson, Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press. Thanks for tuning in, being part of the program. Had some great texts last hour. Love to keep it rolling. And also, last hour we had a chance to talk about some tennis, Utah State men's tennis. David Cherney competing for USU, representing the Aggies on a national level, and getting ready for the upcoming season, which gets underway in January. So that was a lot of fun talking to him. It's always fun to talk to the current athletes in other sports. We also talked about Utah State men's basketball, letter of intent signing day for USU basketball. You can read more about who those three players are on CashValleyDaily.com. Basically a tall guard and two pretty good-sized forwards coming to Utah State.
Yeah, might say Phelps a little more of a wing. I don't know if he's a ball handler.
Well, I guess that's true. Wing is a better description.
Yeah. So a guy who has potential to be a scorer down the line. He's an athlete, can get up, attack the rim. Then you got a kind of a below the basket, physical forward, and then potential, all defense level. Again, potential, I should emphasize potential all defensive talent in terms of a rim protecting center. So
yeah, you can go read more about them. CashValleyDaily.com. Ryan Odom's statements about his new additions to his roster as well. The Aggies are ready to host another game tomorrow, and it'll be another doubleheader. Utah State women at 3 and the men at 7. And Jason, you got a chance to go up and visit with Coach Odom earlier today. We'll talk a little bit more specifically about the matchup tomorrow, but any nuggets from the presser today getting ready for the matchup?
I mean, one of the things he talked about is, Bradley's a bit of a smaller team. They're starting, like a 5'8" guard who's a junior college transfer. I think Duke Dean, if I'm remembering his name right. And then generally they're a bit shorter because, they got like a 5'8", 6'3", 6'6", 6'8", and 6'9" guys in their lineup. So not super tall. Granted, Utah State's not, huge, at least on the tall end. Granted, they're starting 3 guys over 6'8".
Yeah, I was going to say, Utah State's got some size.
It's mainly because they're starting a really tall guard, and Sean Bairstow really helps them out.
True.
So Bradley, they're not super huge, but they're fast. Move around the court. They shoot very well, and so Utah State's going to have to do a really good job at guarding their three-pointers. Bradley, in their first game, they didn't take a ton of threes. They went 9 of 18. Granted, that's 50% shooting on your threes. But it wasn't a huge volume from them. Can't remember what Utah State's three-point percentage, or their three-point percentage was like 42%. I can't remember how many they took.
It was like 19 attempts.
Yeah, so
somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, so not tons of volume threes from either of these teams. Both of them obviously did really well in their first game. Granted, Bradley played like Wisconsin Park something, some non-major team, and they beat them like 93-58. But yeah, the guarding them when they're fast and able to shoot can be really tricky. The one advantage, Odom obviously pointed this out because he's certainly aware of it, is that Bradley's like top returner from last year. I don't know if I'm going to say his name right, like Rink Mast. I'm not entirely sure how to say his first name properly. It's like R-I-E-N-K, and then just Mast. He averaged like 11 points, 8.5 rebounds last year. He's out. He's got a knee injury that's going to keep him out the first couple of weeks. But, Odom talked about, the guys that are filling in for him in the post. They are guys who are fast and are athletic, and so you got to be able to keep track of them. Because even if they're smaller, maybe you can get a couple of rebounds, but then they'll sneak in and, sneak in a few layups on you, or they'll stretch the floor and make you lose that advantage of size. Granted, I think Utah State is certainly capable of stopping them, especially if you got Akin in there, because he's quick.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see with the way to counter size is with speed, right? And but Utah State's size isn't slow, so that's what's interesting here. It's not really the traditional formula may not really work against USU like Bradley wants.
Yeah, and so the thing is, the key to victory for Bradley will be having a really good shooting night. If Utah State can't stop those threes, then it's likely they'll lose the game. If they play good defense, shut down the inside while also being able to contest and slow down their three-point shooting, they'll be fine. They'll hold them to something in the 60s, and then if Utah State obviously can get into the high 60s and 70s, they can comfortably win this game. But if they let Bradley get hot from three, that's the recipe for losing this game. Because Utah State has an advantage in most every other way. They can, on offense, they have plenty of ways they can attack Bradley, and they'll probably out-rebound Bradley. But Bradley's going to be able to shoot threes, and that's the great equalizer in a lot of cases.
There were a few games last night in the Mountain West, and I'm trying to pull those up. I
think Boise State lost to.
Boise State was notable. Maybe they were the only ones who did play.
Trying to think who they lost to.
South Dakota State.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, the Jackrabbits.
68-66. And South Dakota State is a decent ball club, but Boise State should be better. So kind of a surprising loss there for the Broncos. But I tried to find it. I didn't give myself enough time. But according to BJ Rains, after the game, Coach Leon Rice said of Chibuzo Agbo, one of his new players for his team, he said, and I quote, "Agbo was over-aroused tonight after waiting so long for the game. He had 5 fouls, no points in 10 minutes. Rice said, quote, he's probably in the gym shooting. I have a ton of faith in him. He's going to do great things here. But he described him as being over-aroused.
He should go get one of those Charlotte jerseys. Did you see those?
Charlotte jerseys?
Probably shouldn't talk about it on air, but look at the jersey design for Charlotte.
For the Charlotte Hornets?
Just tell me what the ones that they did new, I don't know, the city or I forget the name of them, but every team
jersey?
Yeah, every team except the Jazz has a new one. 29 teams, and Charlotte's is
the letters?
Yeah. Little interesting there.
Oh. Hornets use CLT abbreviation. Oh my word.
I know. I think the guys oh no, I'm not gonna say that. I don't need to get in trouble.
The coaches in the Mountain West, man, they give us gifts.
By the way, I don't want
weird comments.
I should say I don't want you disrespecting the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. They won 30 games last year.
That's a good team.
They do consistently win 20 games a year.
Yeah, they're a good program.
So
I still think that should have been a game Boise State should have got.
Probably. I don't know if South Dakota State's going to be super good this year.
The game was in Boise.
Yeah. Boise should be good, but you know what?
South Dakota State lost their opener 81-80 at Akron.
I don't know, man. Well, that's where that Aziz Bandago guy came from.
Akron?
Yeah, he transferred from Akron to UVU.
Yeah.
So I guess they're doing all right without him.
Yeah. Tonight in the Mountain West, Wyoming, the only team in action, they're hosting Nichols.
Nichols?
Nichols.
Was Dimes not available?
Apparently not.
That'd be a great name
Wyoming
for a basketball program.
Favored by 3 nickels. 3.5 nickels.
Yeah, they should probably win that one pretty good. But Utah State did just barely jump ahead of them in Ken Palm's rankings, which actually Utah State, when I looked at Ken Palm yesterday, they rose from 68 to 63 on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday they jumped up to 62.
Yeah.
Because Somebody probably lost.
Sometimes it's good just not to do anything.
I should check in today, see where they're at.
Busy day in the Mountain West tomorrow night. It'll be Fresno State at UC Santa Barbara, Delaware at Air Force. Those games will be at 3 o'clock. As we mentioned, Utah State hosting Bradley. There's not a line on that game yet. It's New Mexico hosting South Alabama, Colorado State hosting Southeast Louisiana, and BYU is going to be at San Diego State, 8:30 Friday night. Aztecs, big game for them. BYU, they beat Idaho State in their opener, but they had to fight, battle, scratch, and claw the final few minutes to get over the hump there to beat the Bengals.
Yeah, not a super impressive thing. I don't know how long Idaho State's been Division I.
For a while.
Has it been?
They're in the same league as Weber State.
Yeah. But, it has been a while. But not a historically good team. Let's see, when's the last time they had a winning record? 2015? And that's the only one. That's one of 2 times they've been over 500 this century. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really nice win against a quality program for BYU. Yeah, BYU, they took a tumble in the rankings. I think in the KenPom they fell pretty hard. Maybe. They're like 56. I don't know where they started off at, but
435-339-0321. If you want to weigh in on a prediction for this upcoming weekend, Utah State at Hawaii. Jason and I will get into how we think that game's going to play out. Utah Jazz with a nice win at Atlanta on the road. And not just beating Atlanta, which is a good team. Like, they're a top team, one of the top teams in the East.
Yeah, they were third or fourth in the East when they played them. And they may have changed by now, obviously. But
handled the Bucks, their only loss of the season so far. But the Jazz had a lead, gave it away, were down double digits. And then they fought their way back, and they end up winning, like, comfortably.
Yeah. I got to say this about this Jazz team, because there were times, so a couple years ago, the year they were the 1 seed, I'd be watching a game, and the Jazz would just keep raining in threes, and you're just watching, you just lean back, you just get a big old smile on your face. It's like, yeah, they're just tearing it up. It just looks easy for them. And last night, I'm watching the Hawks game, late in that fourth quarter when they're lighting it up, and just it looks so easy. There's raining in threes. There's that same feeling all over again. Yeah, where it hadn't been there for so long. It's just that feeling of, oh yeah, there you go.
Well, it was about 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 2-point game. Atlanta had the lead. Utah had kind of erased it, but then it was kind of a back and forth. At that point, it was a 2-point game. The Jazz were up by just 2. It was really at that point anybody's game, and Beasley hits a 3. Atlanta races down, puts up a bad shot quickly. Jazz get the rebound. They come back down. They race down. I believe it was, I can't remember if it was Clarkson or Connolly who got a layup. Atlanta comes down again quickly to try another shot that's a poor shot selection. Utah quickly grabs a rebound. They run down, dish it out, and then I think it was Markkanen who hits another 3. So just like that, in the span of less than a minute, Utah went on an 8-0 run, and that just like broke Atlanta's back. And they were just never able to really get back into it beyond that. And Utah just continued to apply the pressure, played stout defense, and just these guys are playing without fear.
Yeah, and like there were times late in the fourth where Atlanta was trying to make a push, and Atlanta was, really pushing to make a comeback, because Utah Jazz got up by 10, but then Atlanta was cutting it down. But the Jazz would get on offense, and it felt like so many times, especially last year for the Jazz, they'd have that lead, but then they'd suddenly just choke, and their offense would shut down, and they just wouldn't know how to do things. Well, this team, when you got Mike Conley running around there, slinging the ball around, making floaters, like Mike Conley's out there playing like John Stockton the way he's running this offense, and then just moving the ball around, and the offense was easy because, you like to say you have, stars who just create shots and then just make them, but, sometimes difficult shots. And Kevin Durant just makes the completely unfair fadeaway 18-foot jump shot.
Yes.
But would you rather have that, or Mike Conley runs around, dodges around some players, and he throws up an easy lob dunk to Jared Vanderbilt? Like, it works just as well. Or he slings out to Lauri Markkanen, who takes a slightly contested three and drains it. I say slightly contested because 7-foot Lauri Markkanen shooting it over, 6'8", somebody.
Yeah, still unfair.
So it's like they were still going through their offense, and they were just generating absolutely easy shots. And the pressure was on them to not blow this lead, and it didn't look like they felt it in the slightest. And they executed on offense, and Atlanta was making a couple of tough shots. Utah wasn't making it easy for them. And so this team just executed well on both ends of the court, and they come away with the win. They look like a good team, despite the fact that nobody outside of Utah knows half of these players.
Yeah. It seems like it's a nightly thing on SportsCenter or the national highlights. They're like, "What's going on in Utah?" And they have to show the meme, right? With
the Brian Windhorst.
Brian Windhorst with his fingers in the air, and it's like, and yet this team is not picked to be on any national broadcasts at all this year.
Yeah, they lost their one broadcast at the beginning of the year. Can we have one of those back?
However, we get subjected to a terrible Lakers team almost every other night.
Like, why? Nobody wants to watch the Lakers. Lakers fans don't even want to watch the Lakers.
They're so bad.
Like, we have to watch the Lakers. We have to watch the Nets, I think, are probably still on a decent number of national TV games, where it's just like, why do we want to watch terrible basketball? Why can't we watch the Jazz? Why can't we watch some of these young, fun players? Orlando's got, Paolo Banchero, who's playing pretty good right now. You've got Portland, who's doing pretty well right now. Or at least they were to start the year. I didn't check the standings to see if they were.
They're 8-3.
Yeah, so they're doing pretty well themselves. So it's like, I'd rather watch the Jazz, the Bucks, which, to be fair, the Bucks, they probably have a decent amount, but they're not nearly as much as the Lakers or whatnot.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland, that's probably the biggest one, where they're playing absolutely nuts right now. So, like, why can't we watch these teams instead of having the Lakers shoved down our throats? But, especially true, like, when I go on to the, in the Laker games, when I would go on to the ESPN app, I was checking the scores, and they have their little feed of highlights, and they're all Lakers highlights. And the Jazz win by like 20. So you don't think the Jazz had any highlights in that 139-116 victory over the Lakers? Or is it just another Russell Westbrook layup to put them within 18?
Well, one thing that TV ratings have proven is that teams with stars get viewers. And Utah is creating some stars, but they're not stars by any means on a national stage.
Yeah, they're not the stars that people are going to care about because, these days you got to be a unicorn or a Steph Curry or a triple-double machine to get recognition. And you can be a superstar that creates a name for yourself in a small market. Russell Westbrook did it in Oklahoma City. Kevin Durant did it in Oklahoma City. Giannis did it in Milwaukee. Luka's doing it in Dallas isn't a puny market. But their market,
Jokic in Denver.
Yeah, Jokic in Denver, of course. Well,
they're not really a small market either. But.
Well, it's more that national media hates the fact that Jokic is the best player in the NBA and that he won back-to-back MVPs. They hate Jokic because he's not a unicorn. He's not this Giannis who does impossibly athletic things. Jokic looks like a guy who woke up on the wrong side of the couch, but is still diming it out and shooting it like he's Larry Bird and David Robinson combined. Like
he came in from the YMCA and he's still
it's just
hot.
like, and he's the best player in the league. Like him or Giannis, probably the best player in the league. And part of it's indifferent. But like I said, there's some outlets who are just refuse to acknowledge that Jokic is actually good.
But with this run that Utah's on right now, I mean, they are getting more national press than they normally would.
Yeah, they're forcing people to pay attention to them.
Yes. Yeah, Golden State is 4-7. When's the last time you saw an exciting Golden State highlight?
Well, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
They put Steph. They shoved Steph Curry down our throats too.
Well, that's true. They do. But right now, everybody's fallen in love with this story in Utah.
Yeah, it's a lovable story, and everyone has the same opinion. The what the heck is going on, and it probably won't last. I have the same opinion, but at this point, I'm just throw the tank out the window. I just want to see how this team does.
Yeah.
And I know that they're starting to say, like, should they trade for a star now? I have my own thoughts on that. The answer is probably not, because it would mess things up.
Yeah.
But it's like what happens? Like, what honestly would you do if this Jazz team actually won the NBA title? Like, they were supposed to win, like, one sportsbook had them at 23.5 wins.
23.5, yep.
And
they're almost halfway there.
Yeah, and 23.5 wins in the regular season, and they end up winning 16 games in the playoffs. Like, that would be insane.
That'd be wild. Getting to a couple of your texts coming up on the other side of this timeout. Love to get your predictions for Utah State at Hawaii. We'll get into our predictions, how we think the game's going to play out, what the final score is going to be. We'll also do Pick 6. 6 things we think might happen this weekend. Invite you to play along as well. That's coming up on the Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. The Cash Food Pantry, they do a great service for our community, and they can only do that with your help. And they have a crucial need right now for donations, particularly to help people have a good Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday meal. And besides just like turkeys and hams and stuffing and things like that, they can actually, if you have backyard chickens, they can take your spare eggs. They have the facilities to store those properly and to help people have the food and nourishment that they need. Food Pantry also has really strong buying power, so they can really stretch a dollar more than you or I can. So if it's easier to do a donation, a cash donation, that really helps them out as well. And you can do that a couple different ways. Just drop off a donation there at their location in South Logan. You can go through their website and make a donation, or you can use Venmo. And their Venmo handle is at cash-pantry. So it's at CACHE-pantry. And you can make a donation that way as well. So join us here at The Fan and all of us at the Cache Valley Media Group as we try to support the Cache Community Food Pantry this holiday season.
Your skis are skinny and your boots tie with leather.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You need up-to-date ski equipment, and your kids want the good stuff. Al Sporting Goods has season ski rental for the entire family. Ski and board equipment that you can rent for the entire season. Pick them up now, bring them back in May. And for a limited time, get a free Cherry Peak Lift Pass. Youth season ski or snowboard rental, only $99. Adult season ski or snowboard rentals, only $114. Don't wait. $99 and $114 season ski rental prices will go up. Al Sporting Goods for season ski rentals. Every sport, every season.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
Over the last few years, we have expanded the store to create one of the largest engagement selections in northern Utah. In addition to our goldsmith, we now have a design team that creates, casts, and brings to life your one-of-a-kind ring right here in our store, all for one common goal, to make it special for you. If you haven't been in yet, come see what makes us so special.
Jarrett's fine jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarrett's.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
Sunday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL, it's a cross-conference showdown from the Meadowlands as the New York Giants host the Houston Texans. Hi, this is Chris Carino. Join Brian Baldinger and me for all the action as Saquon Barkley and the Giants look to continue their winning ways. They'll battle sensational rookie Dameon Pierce, Davis Mills, and the young, hungry Texans. It's the Giants and the Texans. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Sunday morning beginning at 10:30 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Mountain West Motors' selection of trucks and SUVs is unique. They've all been specially customized and specially selected. Just go check out the inventory that they have on their lot, and a variety, too, in price ranges starting from around $20,000. Go visit their website, mwmotor.com, or see them in person at 615 North Main in Logan. So Utah State is getting ready to take on Hawaii Saturday night, late kickoff, 9 o'clock kickoff. And we'll have pregame at 7:30 here on The Fan and on KVNU. And then as soon as the game's over, we'll be on again really late.
Yeah.
But we'll be here. Tomorrow it'll be Utah State taking on Bradley. So pregame on KVNU will start at 6, and the game starts at 7. Encourage you to go up there on a Friday night, Veterans Day. Hopefully, I'm sure they'll be doing something in the arena to honor veterans.
Yeah, I'm sure
They're usually really good about that. And then Saturday night, it'll be Utah State football. But getting your predictions for Saturday night's football game, 435-339-0321. Getting to some of your texts that it came through, 9315. If I'm correct, I think Boise is getting new stadium lights. Great. Who wants to see that blue field?
Anyone with eyes doesn't want to see that field. People who say it's a beautiful field should probably donate their eyes to people who have sight problems.
Oh, terrible.
To the visually impaired.
And to throw more light on it to make it stand out even more?
Yeah, that's not going to make things better. If I ever actually have to go there.
It's not pleasant.
No.
I know they're in a big fundraising campaign right now, trying to improve some of their facilities. I think it's I can't remember if it's their north or their south end zone they want to redo. I know the Big 12, when they were trying to be considered for expansion, Big 12 came back to them and said, you got a lot you need to fix in your football arena.
Particularly that blue field.
If you want to come our way. I wish somebody could get through to them and dump that. But they won't. They're so proud of it. So proud of it. There's no way they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's a dumb idea, and they managed to. It's them convincing themselves it's cool. It's
not. 5338 texting in. I thought our team was good enough to beat Phoenix with only 4 players. Signed, D'Angelo Russell.
That was hilarious. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see this.
So there was a play where I think there was like a free throw, and D'Angelo Russell was supposed to check in for the Timberwolves. And officially he did check in because he was standing at the table, and that's, you got to go there and check in. Well, he's still standing there, and the play ends, and he's technically now one of the 5 Timberwolves players legally on the court. Well, he's still standing at the scorer's table, not realizing he's now checked into the game, and so the Suns played 5-on-4 for an offensive possession.
Is he just standing there?
Yeah, he's just standing there. And all of a sudden, at the very end, because Phoenix, actually got a shot off, got an offensive rebound, and then, right as they were taking the shot, D'Angelo Russell sprints in. You can see him trying to make a contest, but D'Angelo Russell with an all-timer in terms of just lack of awareness.
Oh, I saw another highlight. Maybe it's from the same game. I don't know, but it was Minnesota, and I think it was Russell. Looked like it was on a fast break. Karl Anthony Towns is up ahead. Russell's bringing the ball behind him, and it looks like Towns goes to the hoop and then cuts toward the bench. But he's kind of forced out of bounds, and the pass goes and sails out of bounds, and he catches the ball as he's already out of bounds, right by all the bench players. It's like, That play was going nowhere.
Yeah.
So the Minnesota experiment is not really working out so well right now.
So I thought it was going to go all right. I thought, Gobert and Towns could make things work, but I guess, of course, Towns was playing sometimes with Jared Vanderbilt, who was a non-shooter, but I don't know, for some reason he just can't make it work against Gobert because Towns can stretch the floor himself. He's one of the best three-point shooting centers this league has ever seen in terms of what he's capable of doing. But his post game obviously isn't working with Gobert on the court.
But Gobert had a heck of a night just the other night. He had 25 points, 16 boards, 2 blocks.
Yeah, Gobert's able to have these monster games, but Minnesota's just falling apart, and I'm all for it. Not because I'm salty about Gobert. I actually would have loved to see Gobert do really well. I was actually really rooting for the Timberwolves, partly because that's a beleaguered franchise, and they deserve some success. At least their fans do.
Yeah.
But in terms of the fact that the Jazz own a lot of their picks, then sorry, my team first.
Well, and it was also a pretty risky gambit, the way that the NBA has been shifting to more small ball lineups. Everybody on the floor can pass, dribble, shoot, especially from outside. And then Minnesota, we're going to pivot the other way. We're going to go big.
Yeah.
We're going to put 2 7-footers on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, their teams are going versatile and small ball, like you said, and they are not versatile and they are not small. And Anthony Edwards is also apparently becoming a malcontent in some ways.
Yes.
Now, there's talk about another Minnesota low light. There's a play where, the caption I saw on the Twitter thing was, do you think this play was called for Anthony Edwards? And Edwards is sitting out there kind of on that corner wing part of the three-point line, just hands on his hips, just standing there the entire play, not moving.
Oh, gosh.
And it's just I don't think that play was called for him.
That's too bad. And so, Utah does own some draft picks that will be determined on where Minnesota ends up.
Like I said,
that could affect where Utah picks.
We just did need Minnesota to go into free fall, end up with 6th or 7th best lottery odds, then win the lottery off of that, and suddenly all is well with the world.
Danny Ainge is a genius.
So when again, like I said, go back to the memes, and the memes for the Jazz have been just on point, absolutely spectacular. Great. One of them was basically just, Danny Ainge is so good at his job now, he tore down and rebuilt the Jazz in the same offseason. Just he's that good. So,
good stuff. So, Utah Jazz, they're off. A bit of a break. They've not really had a break. They've been going. There's been back-to-backs. There's been travel, cross-country travel, and they still find ways to win. They're young enough and deep enough that they're making it work. But well-needed rest here. And what will be interesting, though, is with a young team like this, will this much time off for them start to cool them off and start to get them a little bit out of sync? Because it's been working for them. The veterans like Connolly and Rudy Gay, they're happy about this rest. But will the other guys start to get a little bit out of sync? I don't know. It could be interesting to watch where they don't play tonight or tomorrow, but then they play Washington on Saturday, and then they're at Philadelphia on Sunday.
The thing that will derail this Jazz team will be the moment they begin to think that they're the best team. Not so much in a, right now they're in a prove the doubters wrong. That's their mentality where, again, they think they're better than their expectations. So in that sense, they do think they're the best team. But I'm saying if they act like, oh yeah, we're the number 1 seed, we can beat anybody. They can't think like that because the moment they do that, it's over. So if they keep the mentality they've had these first 13 games, then they can be a top 3 seed in the West. They can maintain this. Because maybe there's some aspects where they're playing a bit over their heads. But not really. Most everything they're doing is fairly consistent with the talent level of every player on the team. Was Lowry Markkanen maybe playing a little over his head as far as scoring 22 points per game? not by much. I was expecting around 17, 18 points per game. 4-point per game jump from that isn't absurd given the role he's playing.
Yeah.
And Jordan Clarkson at 18, Mike Conley, it's 7.5 assists per game, a little over. Yeah, it's a little over, but it's a guy who's averaging around 5-6 for his career. In his better years, he's averaging around 6.5. So it's like there's not really a part of this team that's just playing so far over its head that so long as they don't, hurt themselves and shoot themselves in the foot, they can sustain a lot of this. Now, sustain it to a 1 seed in the West, that's a little high, but top 3, top 4, again, so long as they don't get too big for their own britches, it's certainly a possibility.
435-339-0321 if you want to weigh in. We're going to take a timeout here in the Full Court Press, and when we come back, we'll get into our predictions for Saturday night. Utah State at Hawaii. How's that game going to play out? What's the score going to be? We'd love to get your score predictions. We've already received a few. We'd love to get a few more on our Full Court Press text line. And we'll get into our Pick 6, trying to predict what's going to happen this weekend. 435-339-0321.
Hey, you know what sounds amazing?
What's that?
3-day weekends.
Well, Schreiber Foods will give you 3-day weekends.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're hiring forklift drivers. You work Monday through Thursday, 12-hour shifts. You get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off.
But I don't know how to drive forklift.
That's okay. We do in-house training and certification.
No way. 3-day weekends. Here I come.
Schreiber Foods is expanding and offering increased wages, benefits, and yes to 3-day weekends. Apply online at schreiberfoods.com. Equal opportunity employer.
Hi, this is James with White Pine Funerals. We're excited to host our annual holiday concert featuring a choir and musical ensemble by Jay Richards. All are welcome to attend free of charge. We extend a special invitation to anyone who is missing a loved one this holiday season. Food donations are encouraged at the door for the Cash Food Pantry. Back-to-back performances will take place at White Pine on Thursday, December 1st at 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. That's Thursday, December 1st at 7 p.m. or 8:30 p.m.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
Prodigy Brewing has so much appreciation and gratitude for the warm embrace Cache Valley has given us. We want to invite you to join us for Sunday brunch from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our Sunday-only brunch menu features sweet and savory options such as churro French toast, chilaquiles, fried chicken egg sandwich, and a Bloody Mary bar. You also won't want to miss our hash browns. Whether you're out with a family or friends, Prodigy Brewing is the place to be in Cache Valley. Open 7 days a week, located at 25 West Center Street in beautiful downtown Logan.
I'm Nate Kreckman. This week in the Mountain West, Boise State on top of the mountain despite a disappointing non-conference loss to BYU. Fresno State leading the West Division with Jake Hainer back in the fold. We talk Broncos with Pete Cavender. We talk Bulldogs with Cameron Worrell with 3 weeks to go until the Mountain West title game. It's all this week here on the Mountain West Radio Network. Friday afternoon during the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Eric France and Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press. It's prediction time. First, starting out with the Utah State football team. Saturday night at Hawaii. Team left this morning. They fly. We got the answer after. Actually, technically, the answer was sent to me while we were on the show yesterday, but I didn't see it until we were off the air. But Utah State's going to be flying charter to Hawaii. They fly to Oakland, refuel, and then fly from Oakland to Hawaii, to Honolulu, and they'll do the same on the way back. So that's a long day.
It's a long, expensive day.
Yes.
All those charter flights.
Yes, it is. That's why you don't want to go to the Hawaii Bowl game.
Yeah. It was nice one time because when I went to the New Mexico Bowl, I actually traveled with, they had the players on their plane, but they also had, parents and whatnot. And so I was with the Utah Statesmen, so part of the university. They flew us with, family and whatnot. And actually, I flew out after the New Mexico Bowl, flew back, and got back in time to go watch Utah State basketball game. So it's like a 1 or 2 hour flight.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Really quick, and they landed right in Logan's, and they drove back. So Utah State's playing right now. Went and watched them.
It's not. I don't. It's not necessarily bad to play the Hawaii Bowl game. I mean, Utah State's never really participated in that bowl, so it's really hard for me to have really that negative opinion about it. But what makes it really hard is that doing that in the same season. If they weren't already making that trip, then it might be somewhat of an appeal, especially if the basketball team's going to be there. I mean, that's a really attractive option for a lot of alumni and friends and family. Spend a couple of days there, and you're going to see some football and basketball. You can support both over the same period of time. But going there now and then turning around and going there again next month, that's tough.
Yeah, and you're not going to get a ton of fans because there's not a whole lot of fans at this point in time that are going to have, just the financials of just suddenly basically go on an unplanned vacation. It's not all that expensive to go to the Frisco Bowl. It's not all that expensive to go to the New Mexico Bowl. It's really expensive to go to Hawaii. And you're going to feel the pressure to make an entire week out of it.
So how are things going to play out Saturday night for Utah State and Hawaii? Jason, let's start with you. Just your thoughts about how you think this game's going to play out, predicting the outcome for USU.
So I think it'll go pretty well for Utah State. Hawaii is just not a good team on offense or defense. New Mexico, I predicted a pretty decent margin for New Mexico. They're at least good on defense and just not good on offense. So the fact that Hawaii is good at neither, I think Utah State's going to do pretty well. They're especially going to run the ball really well. Hawaii is really bad. They allow 230 yards rushing per game. So I think Utah State's going to run the ball pretty effectively. They're going to lean on that a lot. I know Calvin Tyler went out with concussion. It was more like a precaution. It wasn't the same way with Cooper Legault where it was, son's got a concussion.
Obvious. Yeah.
He couldn't remember a bunch of stuff. And I can't remember if I saw that Calvin Tyler was going to play or not.
Well, as of Monday, the coach was saying they're just being careful.
Yeah.
And he'd have to kind of see how things are going this week.
Yeah, I hadn't seen any updates since then. So even if he doesn't, Robert Briggs is still really good. So if Tyler doesn't play as much, Briggs could have a career game. He's already got 2 80-yard games as a freshman. But I think Utah State can run the ball pretty well. They'll pass the ball enough. They'll probably pass the ball a little bit better than they did last week and, the crazy rain and wind and whatnot. So I think ultimately Utah State's going to get 34 points on the board. I think Hawaii, they're going to struggle on offense. Utah State's sound enough on defense. We saw it last week, even with injuries and stuff, and with how New Mexico gashed them at times in the run game, Utah State still kept New Mexico to a low point total. And so I think they'll keep Hawaii to just 9 points. So I got Utah State winning this one 34-9.
Okay. Very interesting. I'm look, a lot of my thoughts about Utah State and Hawaii are pretty similar. I just don't. I think Hawaii has struggled to find consistency, and Coach Anderson pointed that out. That there have been different looks from this team almost every week, and that's not great. This late in the season, and you're still trying to figure that out. That's not a good sign. This is all about Utah State imposing their will. Hawaii defensively, in the past, they've been pretty tough, stout defensive team. But I don't really see any studs on this defense this year for Hawaii. I see some solid, okay players, but I don't see any studs that you have to run away from or game plan around. So I think Utah State can game plan what they want to do, and as long as they execute it and don't have all the penalties, that's a big thing. Clean up the penalties for me. Execute your plan, your game plan. Don't gift opportunities to Hawaii. Playing clean football, and you'll be just fine. However, I don't see as many points on the board for Utah State. I still don't think this team is that explosive yet. This is a team that's still trying to get their feet underneath them after some injuries and just getting experience under their belt for some key guys. I think defensively, I'm with you. I think Utah State holds them out of the end zone and just lets them kick a couple of field goals.
How do you know I have them holding them out of the end zone?
Oh, okay. Safety maybe in there.
Safety, missed extra point, and a field goal? No, I have them kicking 3 field goals.
Yeah, so I got Hawaii at 9, just like you do. But I've only got Utah State with 24. The last few weeks, they just haven't really been explosive. They haven't been really dynamic on offense. I think they'll do enough to win, but I'm having a hard time thinking they're going to get over 30 points. So I've got them at 24.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And that's honestly something I was considering when I said 34. And talking about today where Utah State usually makes it harder on themselves. But I think the fact maybe that just speaks to say how bad I think Hawaii is. And more particularly, I think just Utah State has effectively run the ball a lot, and New Mexico is able to slow that down, but Hawaii is not nearly competent enough on defense. And so Utah State, they're going to run the ball fairly well, and it's going to get them enough points.
Yeah, they give up 45 to New Mexico State at home. That's not great.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, that was on the road. I read that backwards.
Come on, man. Yeah.
But still, they gave up 45 points to New Mexico State.
Yeah, it's like Hawaii's not super great on defense. And honestly, I think the passing game is going to make a bit of a resurgence from the last couple of weeks. Where, Legal wasn't really able to make a really good return because it was, again, tricky weather last week.
Yeah.
And so another week with him back, Terrell Vaughn's playing really well right now. If you get Brian Cobbs going, this is an offense that can, at least for one game, look really good.
Well, and as I said earlier in the week, this game is important to set the stage for next week and the week after. This is an important momentum game for USU. Fine-tune some things, get momentum going, get confidence going, because you're going to really need it. And especially you're going to have a short week because of the travel situation coming home. Thankfully, they don't have to travel to San Jose. That's going to help. But it's a short week next week. And so you need to play well and have that momentum going into the San Jose game, because really that's the game for you to become bowl eligible.
Yeah.
And that may be just Utah State's bowl game right there.
Basically. That's the start of the playoffs for them, essentially.
8968 texting in, I'm okay with winning this game, but I'm concerned about the game next Saturday. By the way, one publication has Utah State as one of the biggest disappointments this season.
I'm glad 8968 is okay with winning this game.
Should be more than okay. All right.
Sorry.
If you got any more score predictions, love to get them. 435-339-0321. Quick timeout, and when we come back, pick 6, the 6 things we think might happen this weekend.
I'm here with Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden. Mark, can you tell us a little about your experience with ChemDry of Northern Utah?
Our carpets get really dirty at Anderson Seed and Garden, and we clean every January. Our timing is kind of difficult. I called Daryl, and he was amazing to work around our schedule. They came in and cleaned our carpets. They looked like brand new when they were all done, and they've just been amazing to work with.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
It's engagement season. Time to find the perfect ring. S.E. Needham Jewelers is known for beautifully cut diamonds at excellent prices. Guys, the sparkle is what matters most in the diamond you give your sweetheart. Our diamonds stand apart from those of other stores. Come view our diamonds under magnification. Select a diamond that fits your budget and then have it mounted in a ring that she'll love. Remember, you get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
It's game time, and you're in the locker room ready to take the field. But suddenly, you notice a player you don't recognize. He's wearing your team's jersey, and he even knows your name. But you've never seen him before now. Would you trust this stranger with your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing scams work. And the first quarter of 2022 saw the highest volume of phishing attacks ever recorded. Protect your business with the Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient, not the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frenson and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
Hey, don't forget the Logan Holiday Gift Show is coming up tomorrow and on Saturday. Santa's going to be there on Friday from 2 to 6, and he'll be there Saturday from 11 to 4. About 100 different vendors are going to be there, and there's going to be some food vendors outside. There's going to be some food inside, but a great place to go find great gift ideas for the holiday season. That's the Logan Holiday Gift Show at the Riverwoods Conference Center Friday and Saturday. Doors open at 10 a.m. and go until about 7 each day. So it's Thursday. We haven't been able to do this in a little while. Either I've been gone, you've been gone, we've had other conflicts. But we haven't been able to really get into the old pick six, predicting 6 things for the upcoming weekend. And I don't even remember who won last.
I think
it's probably you.
I think I did. You'd been going on a streak, and then I think I broke it. And then that's where we went on the run of, like, 1 week I was off doing, girls soccer championships. Then you were gone on a couple of different vacations and a bunch of different things. I think 1 week it was like the women's exhibition or something like that. Their exhibition game, I think, was on a Thursday. It's just a ton of different things.
Yeah.
For like a month and a half now.
So we've been off track a little bit. So we're getting back and going. So, Jason, I believe you won last, so I'll give you the choice. If you want to go first or if you want to defer.
I'll go first. So first one, Utah State rushing yards versus Hawaii. 185.5.
Those are team rushing yards.
Yeah, team rushing yards.
I'm going to take the over.
I'm also going to take the over.
Okay.
So Jordan Clarkson points against Washington, whom they're going to play this weekend. So Jordan Clarkson points over under 21.5.
I'm going to take the over again.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
Final one, Utah State men's basketball. Combined points by Taylor Funk, Sean Bairstow, and Max Shulga.
So Funk, Bairstow, Shulga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over under 45.5.
Oh, that's an interesting line. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over.
Okay. On Saturday, 15-yard penalties for USU. How many 15-yard penalties? Setting the line at 2.5.
I'm going to go under. Let's go optimistic here.
Oh, I'm not. I'm going to take the over.
A couple of pass interferences and a personal foul.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, Walker Kessler blocks in games at Washington and Philadelphia combined.
Okay.
So combined blocks from Walker Kessler in those 2 games, 3.5.
I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over. And then finally, Stephen Ashworth assists for Utah State Friday night against Bradley at 4.5. So I went 2.5, 3.5. Now I'm at 4.5.
He's 4.5.
4.5 assists for Ashworth on Friday.
I think I'm going to take the under on that one as well.
I'm going to take the over. I took the under on the combined points. I took over and everything else. And then tiebreaker?
Predict the score. I deliberately chose the least interesting NFL game I could find. Colts versus Raiders. So predict winner and score. Because I know one time we forgot to pick a winner when we did this.
Okay, I'm going to take Raiders. I'm going to say 24-21.
Okay, I'm also going with Raiders. I'm going 17-13, though.
17-13. Not a lot of faith there.
And, it's the Raiders in Colts, okay?
Yeah, that's an interesting game.
No, it isn't.
Well, just because of a lot of weird circumstances on both teams.
I guess.
Quick text from 8968. Okay, I think the Aggies will win 35-6. Is that okay? Just the trip doesn't wear them out. Yeah,
fair enough.
It's a concern. I like the score. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back at it again tomorrow.